All right, so question 3 again starts with some terminology. You guys can do it on your own. 180 degrees. All sides and all angles equal is a equilateral triangle. The sum of the angles is 360. The opposite what of a parallelogram are equal and parallel? Angle. Now these might or not be correct. You'll have to go and check it out and reply. I'll give you a hint. That one might or might not be correct. Alright. So this one, right? Giving reasons for the statements. Immediately we should be able to see that this here and this here are equal, right? So this is a isosceles triangle. So if we say angle ACB, right, is equal to what? 50 degrees. Why? Because an isosceles triangle, which the two sides are equal, right? This here. So triangle ABC is a isosceles triangle with opposite equal angles across opposite equal sides. My reason might be different from the one that you guys have learned, but use the one that you guys have learned. Alright, but that's not what they want. They want us to work out x, right? So how do we work out x? Well, this is a triangle, right? So, and we know that the angles of a triangle lead up to, equal up to 180. So if we say 50 plus 50 plus 6 plus x is equal to 180 degrees. All right. So will be 100. 100 plus 6 plus x is 180. X is equal to 180 minus 100. X is equal to 80 degrees. If I remember correctly, you'll get a mark for this, and a mark for, oh, don't forget the reason, or else you would have missed out a mark. So this would be angles of a triangle equal 180 degrees. Mark for this reason, and a mark for your answer. Alright, this question, right? Let's see. So, there's no parallel lines, right? We can maybe use the fact that this is going to be 180 minus 3x, right? Equals straight line, but there's a simpler way. Right, put down in the comments if you can see the simpler way. Alright, so the simpler way is using the fact that this is the exterior angle of this triangle, right? Remember, an exterior angle is this part here, and the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles, which means, so this guy here, right, is equal to the interior opposite angles, the sum of those, right? So if we say 3x is equal to 66 degrees plus x, y, we put this reason in, right? Take this one to this side. 3x minus x is equal to 66 degrees. 3x minus x is 2x equals 66. X is equal to 33 degrees. Almost done, almost done. So this question is now with the quads. So this would be, yeah. All right. Determine with reasons the two angles that are equal to x, right? So let's see, we have a parallel line here in parallel with this line. Then we have a parallel line in terms of this parallel line, right? But we also have that this side is equal to this side, right? All right. So let's do it in the order that they gave us, right? So they gave us that AB, which is this one, is equal to AE, right? So since they gave us that one first, let's try and work with that one, right? So this reminds us of the isosceles triangle, where the angles on the opposite equal sides are equal. So x is equal to b1y, because angles of an isosceles triangle, right? So that's that one they gave us. Then they gave us that AEB, right? Which is this one, AEB, and D is equal to 3x minus 20, right? Degrees. Well, let's see. They also gave us the fact that these are parallel, right? So let's see if these ones, can we make an F? No, we can't make an F with these ones, right? Even this way, no. How about a U? We can make a big U, but then this one and this angle, right? But we don't have this angle, so we don't really worry about it. How about a Z? We can't make a Z here. No. All right. Let's look at this one. F, can we make a F? No, we can't really make a F. If this was extended, maybe, but we can't. F this way, no. A U, we could again make a U, right? But doesn't seem like it, right? Z, Oh, there you go. Guys see that? A Z, right? Boom. This one and this one, right? So therefore, x, or sorry, this should probably be b1 is equal to x, but b2 is equal to xy, alternative angles, right, are equal, but then specify. I think you should have done it beforehand in the other ones. If you didn't catch me out on it, should have. But this is going to be y, because CB is parallel to E or DA, right? So there's those two. Hence or otherwise calculate the size of x, right? So we know that this is equal to x and this is equal to x, right? So there's different ways to work out x. If we get this angle, we can use triangles, right? but if we have E1, we can use straight line, but we don't have E1, right? But they do give us that this is a equilateral. I mean, a parallelogram, right? Which means that's a quad. And from early in the question, we said that the sum of a quad is 360, right? But also, what's the properties of a quad, right? Properties of a quad is that angle and this angle will be equal to each other, and this angle and this angle are going to be equal to each other, right? So if we apply it to this, right, this angle and this angle going to be equal to each other, right? So let's say 3x minus 20 degrees is equal to x plus x, right? Why? Because it's the opposite angles of a quad. If you want to, since there's only one quad, you don't have to do this, but you can specify which quad. Quad A, B, C, D. Right? So let's work this out. This is going to be 2x. This is going to be 3x minus 20. Bring this one to that side to that side. 3x plus 2x is equal to 20. 5x is equal to 20. X is equal to, or 5x divided by 5 equals 20 divided by 5. Therefore, x is equal to 4. No. You see? Here was an error that was made. What is the error? When I moved it to this side, I forgot to change the sign, right? Let's actually just check this and see if it would have worked right. So we have 3 times 4 minus 20, right? 3 times 4 is 12, minus 20 will be minus 8. An angle can't really be a minus. We definitely know something went wrong there, right? So let's try this again. So let's get rid of this, right? Let's be careful this time. This is 20. I'll be minus 2x is equal to 20 degrees. Therefore, x is equal to 20 degrees. Let's try this out. So it's 3 times 20 minus 20 is equal to 60 minus 20 is equal to 40, right? And then x plus x is equal to 20 plus 20, which is equal to 40. Therefore, this reason holds true. Therefore, we know that this x value is correct. Okay, last question. Question 3.4 with 8 marks. Does seem like a lot, but if you just break it down, it's going to be fine. Like this one here. This one here was worth 7 marks, but wasn't even that bad. It was just, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Alright, let's see. In the diagram below, angle C is 70 degrees, CBD is equal to 50 degrees, angle E is X, B1 and B2 are equal to each other, and D1 and D2 are equal to each other. Determine the reasons, the size of X. Where's X? Yeah, X. This is the one they want, right? Alright, so this is grade 9. Wow, okay. You guys are going to be, if you guys do pure maths, this is what you guys are going to be doing most of the time. in math paper 2, it's literally just going to be this. But it's going to be Euclidean geometry, which is like circle geometry and a square in a circle. It's complicated, but you get a hang of it, kinda. But when you reach Euclidean geometry, just know that you're gonna hate it. I still hate it. It gives me nightmares. But anyways, back to this. So remember, they give us this in order for a reason, right? So they say angle C is 70 degrees, right? We have no parallel lines, so that's one less headache, right? CBD is 50 degrees, which is that, right? E is equal to X. Let's mark this down. B1 is equal to B2, and D1 is equal to D2. All right. So what possible ways? So the only values we currently have is 70 and 50, right? So we have to try and get X to maybe if we get X to be right, then we can work out a triangle thing. The angle of a triangle. Alternatively, let's see. If we get X to be where? See, we can't use the parallel lines here because it's not stated that these lines are parallel. It's not told, so we can't assume. So let's try this out, right? Okay, D3, right? We know what we can work out D3. D3 is going to be equal to okay, well, 70 plus 50 plus D3 is equal to 180 degrees. Why? Those angles of triangle, right? So then D3 is going to be 180 minus 50 minus 70 is equal to 1. This is going to be 120 minus 20. 180 minus 120 is 60. Alright, so let's put this here. 60 degrees, right? Okay. So now we can, where is it? Yeah. Instead of moving X to there, right? Let's try and move these values. Let's try and get these values, right? So if we look at this is a straight line, right? So we can say D2 plus D1 plus D3, see, D3 equal to 180 degrees. Why? Because of angles on a straight line, right? Right? So then we can make this into one variable, right? Because they are the same. So let's just use D1. So 2D1 plus D3, which is 60 degrees, is equals to 180 degrees, right? So move that to that side. That's going to be 180 minus 60 is 120. 2D1, 2D1, D1 is equal to 60 degrees, right? So this will be 60 degrees and this will be 60 degrees. So what we can do next, right, is either we can do the exact same thing for this one, right, where we do this, but instead of saying 60, we'll say 50. Or look at this here. This is a triangle, right? This here is the interior. This here is the exterior angle, right, of this triangle, which we can say that So that's going to be b1 plus b2, right? But it's the same thing, so it's fine. b1 plus b2 is equal to the interior opposite is the sum of the interior opposite angles, right? Which means interior opposite angles, which is equal to 70 plus 60, right? We can make this just b1. Sorry, don't forget your little hats for the angles. That's going to be 70 plus 60 is 130. b1 is equal to 65 degrees, right? This is going to be b1 or b2, which is it's the same thing, right? b2, 65 degrees. Therefore, we can say that x plus 65 plus 60 equal to 180. Why? Because of the angles of a triangle, right? So then x will be equal to 180 minus 60 minus 65, which is equal to 55 degrees. So for summary, we used straight line. We could have used straight line again, but we used instead the exterior angle of a triangle, and then we used the interior angles of a triangle. So if you were to get marks on this, it would be let me show you. It would be a mark for the statement, for the simplification, which is this part here, the size, the other statement, the simplification, the size, statement, and size. So whenever you get these type of questions where you have to prove the or show that this is equal, right? This here, determine with reasons the size of x. I would say more often just divide this number by 2, right? And that's what it is actually out of 4. This question is just out of 4. This question, right? Since it says determine with reasons, let's divide that by 4. Divide this by 2. This is only out of 2 marks. This one, divided by 2, just take the lowest one, so that's just 1 mark. Or 2 marks for the actual value. But this one, just 2 marks. This one, 2 marks. Because all we're saying is we're getting the statement, right? And then the value. This gives you 2 marks. Simplification, and then value. This one, same reason. It's the statement and the equation, simplification, and answer. And yeah, this was the September paper for the Eastern Cape, Term 3 Test 2023. Yeah, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section below. Testpapers.co.za is a great place for papers. Another place is ecexams.co.za. They also have really good exam papers. Awesome. Enjoy maths, enjoy studying. Don't cry too much, and remember, angles are fun. Bye bye.